Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at soundcloudstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international war-ring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. 4 Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 110 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music. And we're now on HamiltonRadio.net, also Diamonds FM, Oldies Radio, and more. Make sure you take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Also baseball tees, baseball shirts, and more. Make sure you go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also cool merchandise, T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, baseball shirts, and phone cases and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific couple, and they've taught thousands of couples practical skills to create a fulfilling romantic partnership for over 25 years. As you can tell, they've been doing it and do a great job. We'll talk about that. And we have a wonderful lady who's a marriage and family therapist with over 65,000 and counting hours of counseling and published articles as on faith and relationship development in numerous publications, including World Religion News, Time Magazine, also Marriage.com. Also a wonderful gentleman who's a fellow of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, also in regenerative medicine, in bioidentical hormone replacement and stem cells to assist men and women reverse the aging process. Also the author of the Vitality Connection, 10 practical ways to optimize health. And of course, they're coming together in a book called Ageless Love. We'll talk more about that. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Los Angeles, the amazing couple of Ageless Love, the sexy science of falling in love forever. Ladies and gentlemen, the very multi-talented Dr. Michael and Dr. Barbara Grossman. Guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
A pleasure to be here with you.
And great to have you on board. Dr. Barbara, thanks for joining us as well. You can chime in if you want. Go ahead.
Well, it's great to be here. I don't know your audience, but I'm happy to share what we know about how much having a great relationship contributes to long life and good health. And it also supports our children and our society. So both Michael and I are very committed to educating the American public how they can enrich their lives in love and have their love go on forever.
Mm-hmm. And of course, it's also great to teach our youth as well, too, what real love is. You don't, what's out there on Instagram and Twitter and everything. And, you guys inspire as well, too. Give them some lessons. And first of all, Dr. Michael, let's talk about you here, that you're a fellow of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, also regenerative medicine, using bioidentical hormone replacement and stem cells to assist men and women reverse the aging. You're also author of a couple of books, The Vitality Connection, also 10 practical ways to optimize health. And Dr. Barbara, you're a marriage and family therapist with over 65,000 and counting hours of counseling. And you also publish articles on faith and relationship development in numerous publications in World Religion News, Time, Marriage.com. And you also have the book called Ageless Love, the sexy science of falling in love forever, and also some other books. You guys work on some counseling and online classes and more. And before getting all that, Dr. Michael, let's go to you first. Tell us how you first got started.
How I got started. Well, Um, in medical school, I was pretty stressed out, and I found that meditation was a very important addition to be able to be not stressed, to be able to handle all the intense stress that went on. And I love doing research on meditation, which I did, published a bunch of articles on it. And I was probably one of the first acupuncturists licensed in the United States, 1973 approximately. And so I've always been in the area of natural approaches. So I've been a traditional doctor, but I always focused on what can we do more naturally with herbs and acupuncture and other nutritional things. And so I've always done that. And then probably in 2003, I stopped doing traditional medicine, which, they wanted me to see patients every 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
That's what most doctors do today. That's what the insurance companies expect. See someone in 5 to 7 minutes, and you get paid your $42 or whatever, but you can't really help people the way you want to help them. So I began to just focus on the type of medicine that I love, which is making people feel more youthful. And I've been using these bioidentical hormones for, I don't know, since the 1990s. And it changes people's lives. Anytime you get a woman who's going through menopause or beyond menopause, or you get a man who's in his 50s or later, they lose their natural hormones. And there's no good reason for it, except that it just seems to happen. And it makes you old, makes your brain old, makes your mood old, makes your muscles old, makes your energy old, makes your libido old. And you can reverse all that. And when you use natural hormones as opposed to synthetics, you stay youthful and it prolongs your life instead of shortens it. So I do a lot of that. That's one of the fun things that I do. I change people's lives in this mechanical way. And along with that, then, my wife has always been into the psycho issues of life. And amazing research came out from Harvard Medical School over the last 50 years, a long study that showed that the most important factor in longevity after the age of 50 is the quality of your personal relationships. So being a longevity doctor, I have to focus on that. I can't ignore that with my patients. So then I work more and more with my wife. Want to add some things?
Well, yes. So you need a healthy body and a youthful body to deliver on love over a lifetime. And so Michael's contribution is huge. And because we're partners in love as well as at work, our own personal journey to grow our relationship and develop emotionally, as well as, really understand and appreciate each other and develop that respect along with love. We feel we're walking the walk that every couple needs to take in order to keep love alive for a lifetime. And if you continuously grow, you keep discovering more about yourself and your partner. And so the relationship never gets old. It's always alive and wondrous. And you add to that a healthy body where you can have hobbies that are active and you can have an active sex life. It all, integrates together into, a deep satisfaction that's both mental, physical, and spiritual. And it just so happens to support our children and society in general. So everybody's a winner. And it's such a heart-rendering, chaotic experience to go through the breakdown of a relationship. I see that all the time in my office. It's not small change to go through that. It hurts people, it debilitates them. It takes years to recover, and the chaos that ensues is, another challenge. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we can talk more about it as well, too, in the book. And Dr. Barbara, you've been a marriage and family therapist with over 65,000 hours and counting of counseling. You publish articles on faith and relationship. And before we get more about book and relationship, tell us how you first got started.
That's a good question. I don't know that I think I have a, interest in personal development, and I've been involved in, a lot of, transformational processes. And I see the potential of, what it means to be a human being. And I didn't expect to be a therapist. I expected to be a professor, some brainy professor in a university teaching about philosophy or philosophy of religion or philosophy of culture. And that environment was too intellectual for my purpose. I believe, we have to balance the personality and not just be thinking smart, but also developed in our emotional parts. And so my own journey to balance my feelings with my thinking brought me to the world of therapy. And I love supporting other people's development, their evolution of their personality over time, and to support their relationships. It's a great honor to serve that role with people.
That's really interesting. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career? So, Dr. Michael, you can start, and then Dr. Barbara, you can also join as well.
One precise moment that influenced me
into what you're doing for the rest of your career. What was that big moment for you?
It's hard to say, but it's so interesting. What comes to my mind is so funny. In medical school, I went to NYU Medical School, which is a great medical school, but it was really into research. And the doctor's doing research on aspirin, and he kept doing the same research over and over again. And I said, well, why are you doing the same experiments over and over? He said, well, I didn't get good results. I said, really? Well, what does that mean? Well, the aspirin companies are paying me to do research. I need to show the good results. So I kept doing it over and over again.
Doesn't that give you a headache after a while or something?
Well, then you have the great, science, objective science. And for me, I learned meditation when I was going to med school, and because it was so exhausting and so on. And the meditation really inspired me to look at the world in a little different way, not just, that research that seems to be, what I was learning in medical school, but rather looking at a more integrated way in terms of how do you really change your health and your well-being. When I told my professors in medical school that 1972, that I thought that diabetes was related to eating too much sugar.
Yes. I think there was something like that too. Yes.
Their response was laughter. They thought that was the funniest thing because everybody knew that diabetes was a genetically caused disease. That's true about type 1 diabetes, but not the most common type 2. Well, they thought it was funny that I thought that diabetes was related to eating too much sugar. They laughed. So I had this push-pull with medical school that I said, I like what I was learning in meditation and acupuncture and herbs and all these different things. So I was moved into this other place where I was not looking to be a traditional doctor. And so that for me was the big push. And so that's what I do. I love being a little on the edge, where all the things I do the stem cell thing. I've been doing that for 8 years now. And it's a little bit on the edge, and but it just changes people's lives. It's totally safe. It's extraordinarily effective. But that's my personality. So I'm not so happy with what is considered traditional science because it's not so objective, really. The drug companies have their ways of doing things, and they want you to think they're objective, but it's not so objective, really. And they want to cover up the things that may work, but they ain't no money in it, so they push it down. So it's a funny world, but that's sort of trying to answer your question.
It sounds like a pain in the what when it comes to the pharmaceuticals and everything. And then Dr. Barbara, I'm sure you probably test that in a way. And what was that one precise moment for you that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career?
Well, I think it has to do with my journey with Michael. I chose a really wonderful man, a good person who's very conscientious, moral, and committed to family and faith. And lo and behold, we had 2 children, and we came upon a real rough spot. And Um, and our struggle to work through that and to learn and grow. For Michael, it was about growing his emotional part of his personality. And for me, it was more about becoming more rational about my feelings and understanding myself and speaking in a way that Michael could hear me. And that whole long process of really growing up and maturing and being able to create a partnership that we both love to be in was really eye-opening. And it was not easy to accomplish on our own. We had mentors that really moved us along. Without them, I don't think we'd be as wise and have as much to offer. And so my gratitude to the people who helped us and the kind of life and love we live causes me to want to provide that for other people, because I don't think people can organically get there by themselves. And so I see lots of stuck, trapped couples who need a way through what might be called the power struggle or the inevitability of coming up against our differences and our tremendous responsibilities in adult life, that they need processes to get through that so that they can love each other with a whole heart and really create the lives they want together. So that's what I do.
Okay. And it's amazing what you guys do. We'll talk about your book, Ageless Love, The Sexy Science of Falling in Love Forever. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosensia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. 4 Goes Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 110 countries. Take The Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast. These are great for loved ones, by the way, folks, so make sure you order. Also, check out the merchandise and books at Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia for great books and merchandise and more. Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia. Check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the amazing couple, Dr. Michael and Barbara Grossman, the authors of Ageless Love, The Sexy Science of Falling in Love, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And also, before we talk about the book, you guys also have some books before that, like The Marriage Map, Secrets to Deep and Effortless Meditation. And tell us more about those 2 books.
So the book on meditation is designed to teach people how to meditate, to understand the basic science of meditation and how to actually do meditation where it's effortless, where it's easy. And you get to listen to some audio tapes when you buy the book. And it really changes people's lives. It's part of an anti-aging program. Everyone needs to have a process by where their mind calms down and quiets down. There's so much stress that builds up in our physiology, and it influences our body, influences our DNA, our genes, it affects our hormones and our brains. And we need to kind of settle down, quiet down on a regular basis, and it changes our well-being. It reduces illnesses and disease. So that's something that I wrote very recently. It's a new book, and it's really very, very valuable. And so that's the book, Deep and Effortless Meditation. And then Barbara, why don't you tell us about the book, The Marriage Map, The Road to Transforming Your your marriage from ordeal to adventure?
So a couple of years ago, we wrote the book, The Marriage Map, and the idea of it was to share what the life of a man is about and how it contrasts with the life of a woman, both in psychosocial terms in contemporary life, but also mythologically, so that we understand the challenges of developing ourselves. Because I want every individual to take themselves seriously and grow themselves. And there are definite learning steps to evolve oneself over time to become a integrated personality and a good partner. And so the psychological knowledge that we think of as contemporary is really consistent with what's ancient knowledge. The story of Eros and Psyche could be written for today. Psyche is like any modern woman, and Eros is like any modern man. And our lack of connection with ancient stories causes us to feel, lacking wisdom and lacking a roadmap. But there are plenty of roadmaps, and we provide a couple of them in the book, and we show how it's relevant for today.
And what are a couple of the roadmaps you talked about? Give us an example or two.
Well, it's so for so women, it's complicated. Depending on when you marry, it's more than likely that in a conventional marriage, a man will develop his competence first, not because the woman is not able to, but because she probably gets distracted by having children, which is complicated. It makes life more complex than working out one's own identity and service to the world. And so a man usually develops himself in his work first and becomes very much involved in his brain, in his mind. And a woman, because she connects with her babies, develops her heart. And so we have a relationship where the man is in his mind, his head, and the woman is in his heart, and they're speaking different languages. Mm-hmm. And, so each partner, with the conflict that creates, demands each partner to go on a kind of a personal adventure of developing the other part of their personality. So a woman needs to develop her mind, and a man needs to develop his heart. And if they're able to collaborate together and develop the best of each other, or they have help from a mentor who keeps them from being at each other's throats, you can coordinate that development and have a completely, super enriched relationship on the other side of that conflict. But it takes a certain intentionality and a desire to become a fully developed and fully alive individual. So it's personal responsibility that leads to great partnership.
Mm-hmm. And certainly does as well, too. And of course, you got the book, Ageless Love, The Sexy Science of Falling in Love Forever. You also break it down to some chapters like How to Fall in Love Forever, Love, Aging, and Intimacy, Your Brain Romance, Longevity, and Romance. And, of course, basically that how to fall in love forever. And of course, you see like the other books out there. You see it in movies, social media, and everything. You see all kinds. And maybe like, talk about your version. Like, what are some of the tips in falling in love forever, and how to keep it that way? It almost seems like you see too many, marriages flame out these days thanks to social media. It's like, how do you manage to keep it? And maybe some unique perspectives.
Right. So we usually will say that there's 3 secrets to falling in love forever. Secret number 1 is to understand that it's not going to be a smooth ride. It's not designed to be a smooth ride. It's designed to be a changing process. And the process starts out when you're a little baby. You are in love with the breast, and it's just you and the mother's breast. You cry, the breast comes, you get your milk. You get to be 2. It's not so easy. You want it your way. Your mother says, no, you can't have that now. And you don't
terrible twos, right?
And then you get to be 5 to 8 years old. You love being part of the family. It's just delightful. So you're moving from being close to the things you love to being more independent. And then you get to be 5 and 8, you're back feeling close. Get to be 13, you know what happens then. You want to be independent again. You want it your way. You know everything. And then you get to be 25 and 30. You're part of the family. You love being part of the family.
It's your own family.
It's your own family. And you are feeling close to the things you love. And then you get to be 35, 45 years old, and things change. You want to be independent. You had enough of this. You want to have your own profession, your own time. You got to feed more. You've had enough of this family business. You want to be more independent. Get to be 55, 65, grandparent. Once again, you're feeling close to the things you love. This movement back and forth is a natural process. Don't get upset about this movement. It's going to happen. So if all of a sudden your wife, I was married to Barbara for 10 years and we did everything I wanted and it was a great marriage. And then she goes back to graduate school and thinks for herself, all of a sudden it wasn't okay. She wanted things different. You've got to recognize it's not that Barbara's changed and now she's a mean person. No, this is a natural movement. So the big picture, very important to get the big picture. It's not anything bad that's happening. This is natural. So that's secret number one. Don't expect a smooth ride.
I think you laid it down really good as well, too. A lot of people don't see that. And I think what you did really makes a lot of sense. I mean, I thank you for that. That really makes a lot of sense.
Well, Dr. Barbara wrote her thesis on it. So I just popularized it, but she's the one who did all the research and all that. So then secret number two is if you're not listening to your partner without interrupting them, then you're not really listening. So what does that mean? That means you have to have a skill of being able to listen to your partner, say what they're saying without thinking, oh, I'm going to win this argument. I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to show you I'm right and you're wrong. No, you're going to just listen to them and try to see the world from their point of view, which is so different than yours. Mm-hmm. And that's a skill. We teach that skill both in our online courses. We have 5 online courses for particular challenges. And we also have a longer course that we teach that's more personalized, where you learn these skills and learn to own these skills. Secret number 2. Now, secret number 3 is don't expect your partner to naturally and automatically know what you want, like when you first were in love. When you first fell in love, oh, your partner loves to go to the movies and loves to ice skate and loves to dance and loves chocolate. And you know all the things that make them happy. And it's so natural to give them that and get it back. When you're 30, 40, 50 years old, it's not so natural because you've changed and they've changed. And don't expect them to know what it is you want and for you to know what it is they want. Because if you just think, oh, I like going to the beach every day, and you drag your wife to the beach, and maybe she doesn't like going to the beach every day. You got to be able to listen to each other and make requests of each other.
Interesting. I was going to say negotiating too, but I think that works as well too.
We teach couples how to make requests nicely. So there's a whole science of making requests so that you don't get into arguments. Right. There's a whole science where you just say, it would really make me happy if, and you don't make demands and you don't make too many things all at once, and you've got to thank them. And it's a whole science that we teach about how to make requests. But you have to make requests because your partner's changed so much. You don't know what they really makes them happy, and they don't know what makes you really happy. You've got to have that option of making requests.
That is rather interesting. Of course, great to overcome conflict and a loving way to connect again. And also too, speaking about that, love, age, and intimacy and everything else, and how to maintain the youth, the brain, and the level of enthusiasm. And you guys are brainiacs, as you guys can tell. It's like we all got to be brainiacs at this here. So okay. Yeah. So we have love, aging, and intimacy here. I mean, just a bunch of things about it. It's like, tell us more about that and, what you can do, how to maintain everything.
Well, in terms of maintaining intimacy, one of the big problems for men, 50% of men over the age of 50 have erectile dysfunction. 70% of the men over 70 have erectile dysfunction, and it keeps going up. So one of the things about intimacy is you've got to have the right hormones. So we mentioned that in the beginning. For men, testosterone is very important. For women, the hormones testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, very important to replace naturally. But you also want to work on the mechanics. So we do various natural growth factors and both injectable kinds of things, stem cells and exosomes and platelet-rich plasma. And we also do vibrational acoustic wave, Gaines wave treatments that help men with erection dysfunction. It's very important in a romantic relationship to maintain sexual activity. That's what makes you feel close to each other in a physiological way. And it just enhances the emotional closeness. Very important. You want to add anything?
Yeah, we have to be healthy to maintain love. It takes energy and enthusiasm for life, as well as having our body parts work. And it's important to have, regular, intimate connection. It just feeds and nurtures your life. And it doesn't hurt to have hobbies together and to do fun things, and you need energy for hobbies. Michael and I are ballroom dancers. We compete all over the country in international standard ballroom, and we work out and practice together. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't feel vitality. And so it takes the commitment to take good care of yourself, to be your best self and bring that to your relationship.
That's really interesting. And have you guys thought about being on Dancing with the Stars? That makes me think of it. I'm ready to go ballroom dancing with my wife here. So
it's a great idea. I encourage you.
Well, Dancing with the Stars, if they want to invite one, we have to get really famous, and then they'll invite one of us to be with their professional dancers. We dance amateur with amateur. But yes, if you know someone, I would
be happy to go and be there.
We'll get people to tune into this episode. I'm sure somebody will reach out to you. So, and of course, a lot of things about. Of course, you got the brain, the romance, and longevity in today's world. We'll talk about that in the book "Ageless Love: The Sexy Science of Falling in Love Forever" with Dr. Michael and Barbara Grossman. You're listening to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor, The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. We'll be back with Dr. Michael and Barbara Grossman of Ageless Love: The Sexy Science of Falling in Love Forever after this time out. We're back with Dr. Michael and Barbara Grossman on the Mike Wagner Show with the book Ageless Love: The Sexy Science of Falling in Love Forever. And we talked about a couple of things like how to fall in love forever, which is really definitive, and also love, aging, and intimacy. And we'll continue about that. It's also about your brain and romance, and the brain has been emphasized as well, too, and a little bit of romance. And of course, I guess the question is, what makes romantic love so different from other types of love? I guess that's a big number one question.
Usually answer that because it has to do with connect.
So romantic love is very different than other kinds of love. So other kind of loves we can say is like the ocean. You have brother and sister or parent, you haven't seen them in 2 years, and you just go right back to being close to them, and you just feel that connection, and it's just a delight. Don't do that with romantic love. Love is like fire. Fire needs constant air and energy to keep burning, to keep moving, to keep that heat coming up. And it's an ongoing thing. You can't, if you go away for 2 years and then you expect to be back to where you were, it doesn't work that way. No, you've got to keep that connection going all the time. So romantic love is very different. It involves a kind of passion where they are different from you. They're not the same as you. If they're the same as you, you're two lawyers working in a business together, two accountants working in a business together, that's not romantic. It doesn't turn you on. You've got to have differences. So there could be many differences that you have, but you've got to accentuate those differences. You've got to love and appreciate those differences. It's not the same. If you make it the same, it's like a magnet. You put two magnets that have the same North Pole, they repel each other. You don't get that closeness. You've got to maintain the differences, and you've got to appreciate and accentuate the differences. And that's what we find happens with romantic love. So what we teach couples is we teach them how to appreciate the differences that are there. and not to try to make them the same. You don't want your partner to be the same as you. And you negotiate different things to try to make it work, but you've got to accentuate their differences. And that's what creates romantic attraction.
Yeah, I would say you have to appreciate the differences because they amplify and create a much bigger life than you could create on your own. And when you appreciate each other's differences, you can work together. And your ability to fulfill goals, you have twice as many skills and aptitudes that you can apply to your goals. So like in our family, Michael's a big game player. He's great with the grandchildren playing games, and I'm more in the kitchen and getting things ready. So it's, we can handle two different aspects of family life because we have two different skill sets. And that applies to work and pleasure and all kinds of projects.
And what we can say about romantic love, as opposed to other kinds of love, romantic love constantly presses you to grow and develop because your partner's so different than you. I had to learn so many things that I would never have learned. I had to learn how to be emotional, how to respond to emotional things, how to open my heart emotionally, because Barbara is moving me in that direction. And that's like a big thing to grow in that way for a man. And a partnership does that. And for a woman, she'll have to learn to be more in control of her emotions and use her mind to control her emotions. And that's more of a masculine trait in terms of how the men's brain is set up. But a woman has to learn that too. And it's a little different for her. And so that's her area of growth and development. As a counselor, she has to be able to do that too, because that's what counselors have to do, take the emotions and intellectually say, well, let's think about this and so forth. And so relationship that's romantic pushes you to grow as opposed to other relationships that are just comfortable.
That's a good point. And of course, let's say you guys get in a conflict. How would you guys handle forgiveness, or what's the best advice? I mean, there's so many theories about forgiveness. It's like, what is the best advice for forgiveness for you guys?
I wrote a whole chapter in the book on Ageless Love on forgiveness. There's a process that you can go through, which is your own process, not in relationship with your spouse or your romantic partner or with a parent or friend, but it's just you going through the forgiveness process. You have to learn to feel the different layers of emotions. And we do teach a sharing process with your partner that helps you to get there. But ultimately, you have to go through yourself the different emotional levels. Anger is the outer level of emotions. Anger is not productive. Anger is something that is the last layer of emotions that come out when nothing else is working. You're angry. You have to go under the anger. And when you get under the anger, you realize that you're feeling sad about something. And so there's sadness there. So when you just feel your anger and you just are with it, and someone is listening to you, or you're writing down, as I wrote in the book, Ageless Love, you feel the sadness. And then after you feel the sadness, you're with the sadness for a while. Then underneath the sadness, you begin to feel.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
You have to explore the hurt and the fear that's underneath the anger, so that you understand the source of your reactions. And as you sort through your feelings, and you get to a place where you can you perceive what's important to you. You can learn about yourself and what it is that the loss that is involved in the interaction, so that you can look at it and appreciate it, understand it, and accept it. And this is when you process yourself, you then become able to talk to the person who, if you choose to share what the hurt was, and it just becomes possible to really own your own feelings and your own attachment to certain needs that may have been not misunderstood or not appreciated. And so you're in a better position to resolve that with a person
It's much easier to share hurt and sadness than there's anger. Anger is not really a good way to share with anybody, but hurt, sadness, and the loss. So when you feel fear, afraid of losing something, you can share that, and you can share what it reminds you about. You can share with someone that it reminds me about when I was 4 or 10 or something, and this happened and that happened, and that's what it reminds me, how I feel.
So many of our hurts in our romantic partnerships are really echoes of the hurts we experienced in our childhood. And it's important to connect the dots and then share where the origin of the hurts come from and what our sensitivities are, so that our partner knows how to kind of walk softly around those parts and appreciate our history.
Right. And one of the things we share in our classes is a process by which the partners can share their hurts from childhood with their partner. And then you understand why your partner is behaving a certain way. They're not doing it to be mean. They're doing it because these old hurts come up for them when such and such happens. And then you understand them. And then they make a request. Oh, it would really be nice if you wouldn't say X, Y, and Z, if you would say it this other way, because then it feels better. And so you learn how you can heal your partner, and they learn how they can heal you. So that is part of that process. So forgiving is forgiving all that stuff that happened in the past. So every time you're upset in the present, it's almost always because of the past that it's being called back up. So forgiveness means forgiving what happened in the past, whether it's your partner who did it or whether it's your mother when you were 4 or whatever happened. So forgiveness is a big process that we all have to go through, and ultimately, for our own health, we need to forgive everybody for everything that's ever happened to us.
I like that. That's a really good definition of forgiveness. That is just amazing. We're here with Dr. Michael and Barbara Grossman of Ageless Love, the sexy science of falling in love forever, on the Mike Wagner Show. Guys, you just really put a lot of things in perspective. And, based on the things we talked about, how can you apply all this in today's world?
How can
we apply it?
Well, in today's world, we talked about, it's like you talked about what worked before, like, today's world, beyond, and everything else, especially being influenced by social media.
Well, I believe it's everybody's responsibility. I think, what wakes us up to the need for personal growth is not being happy, being uncomfortable about something. And so if you're sitting in your life and you're cranky and it doesn't look like you want it to look, or it doesn't feel the way you want it to feel, it's time to start a project where you improve yourself and improve your life. And we're happy to support people like that, but find a means by which you can grow yourself so that you're taking more responsibility for the quality of your life and your internal experience. And if that means working on the conflicts you have with your partner and understanding yourself better and why you feel the way you do and why your partner feels the way they do, that's an important project. If you're not living the life that you feel that you are purposed to live, then you need to explore yourself and really define a future that satisfies your gifts and ambitions, so that you express yourself in this life fully and you contribute the way you feel you're meant to give, so that you can feel right with yourself and be the right person to give to others. When you're satisfied with what you're doing as an individual, you have a full heart to give to other people. And so there's a lot of personal work you can do, and then there's also relationship work you can do. And underneath that, we add to that a mixture, having a relationship with yourself that connects with something beyond. And so we add meditation to our menu.
So on a practical basis, we encourage people to read our book, Ageless Love, which is coming out in the next month, to take our courses and classes. We have 5 video classes that are 3 20-minute courses with homework, and they're on 5 different challenges. One challenge is parenting, another challenge is not feeling a number one, another challenge is money and love, another challenge is sex and intimacy, another challenge is arguing. And you can learn skills to deal with that. The government's not going to teach you skills. The listening to news is not going to teach you these skills. It's going to aggravate you. You want to learn skills that are going to really change your life, because you have the ability to be in charge of your life, and your own happiness is in your hands. You don't want to put it in the hands of the outside world. You want to take control over it. So taking our classes could be a big part of it. Learning the meditation. I teach meditation online. Dr. Michael meditationsecrets.com. That's doctor is DR, Michael Meditation Secrets with an S.com. You can learn meditation. Very important to change your physiology, to change your brain chemistry, your brain waves. These are things that people can do. Don't depend upon
the school system and government and outside forces.
No, you have to change it yourself.
That's very important too, and I really like that. So don't listen to a president for once. So, and just a couple of things. Who do you consider biggest influences in your careers?
There's been a lot of brilliant people who have led breakthroughs in meditation and personal transformation. The list is long. I don't know if I want to make a list because I might leave someone out.
There's been so many people that has affected us. You know, Barbara went in her training program. George Markham was a delightful soul who taught her pastoral counseling, and we learned so much from him. There are so many different people that I've had in who have taught meditation and have taught me so many things over many, many years. And so many different processes.
So 50 years ago, we studied with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. We studied with Joe Dispenza. I followed a wonderful woman named Terry Cole Whitaker. And then there's been a lot of, personal people in our lives, not people who are in the news, but who are just privately brilliant and wise.
The interesting thing is that when Barbara and I were having the difficulty when she was like 30 years old and started to get her own ideas about how things should be, we did a lot of counseling, which was not helpful. Counselors were not helpful. Went to many counselors. What was helpful is these people that she's talking about who were mentors and taught us how to interrelate with each other and how to relate with ourselves. And that changed our lives and ability to grow. And that's why we're so motivated to teach people things, because most counselors don't do what Dr. Barbara does in the counseling room. They take sides. They make one person right, one wrong. Oh, husband's a jerk. Oh, the wife's a jerk. And you should just get rid of them. And they do that a lot. They don't have a way of seeing the big picture of things and to teach the skills you need to grow and develop and have it work. So counseling is a funny thing. It's very, very difficult. But we have found mentors have been very, very, very important in our lives.
Oh, that's rather interesting. I seem to like that. And what's the best advice you guys can give to anybody at this point?
Well, if you feel there's something missing and you want to grow, I would respect those feelings and take them seriously and follow up on that. And again, we were talking about mentors. These were wise people who had lived and cultivated wisdom. And we're at the point in time where we can be wise elders for other people, and we're happy to be helpful to your people. So reach out to us if you like, or find people who can inspire and support your growth and development over time.
Okay. And Dr. Michael?
Each person should feel like they could make choices that will change their life for the better. Your life is not controlled by the outer environment. It's controlled by the inner environment, by what you eat, by your hormones, by your own brain waves, by your own thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes. You control it, and you have to take steps to make it better. It's up to you, and you can do it. Every person can take these steps, but you have to have that drive that I'm going to make this happen. And I've seen it happen over and over again in my office, and that's why I love doing what I do, because I change people's lives for the better.
And you guys do a great job. I got to say that. We're with Dr. Michael and Barbara Grossman of Angels Love, the sexy science of falling in love forever on the Mike Wagner Show. Guys, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Learned a lot from you. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We'd love to have you guys back. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact, or can people purchase, check out your books, or check out your services?
So I would have people go to fallinginloveforever.com, and that would be the best way to see all the different things that we do. And that's what I would do, fallinginloveforever.com.
Okay. And Barbara, any final words?
Just thank you for having us on your show.
That's very good. Once again, guys, a very big thank you for your time. You guys have been amazing. Love to have you in soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. We wish you all the best, and you've got a great future ahead of you.
Thank you.